I just want to have a conversation with you guys today about what are you going to do for 2026 that is going to be coming around the corner. As of shooting this right now, it is December 1st. And one of the things that I like to do that I've been doing for years in my business usually starts around November and December is really starting to think about what I want to achieve the next year, what I want to do the next year, and just not really goals set, but mainly come up with actual strategies to achieve the very things that I want. So let's break that down real quick and, give you guys a little bit more context to what I mean. Early on in my business, I read a lot of books and listened to a lot of videos, podcasts, that kind of stuff. And everyone talks about goals. We all know that high achievers create goals, and I feel like that is a good starting point. But a problem that I see with the whole goal setting, community or whatever you want to call that, anyone that's real big on goals, is that a lot of the times we end at the goal. So I don't know if you're anything like me, but maybe you've set some goals of, I want to make $100,000 this year, or I want a goal of, I want to grow a social media following, or I want a goal of hiring my first employee, or maybe your fifth employee, or you want a van like this, the work van, which was a goal of mine for last year. And we'll make this list of goals. But the problem with just making the list of goals is if we don't do anything, or if we don't change anything, or if we don't have a strategy in place to actually achieve those goals, then they're not going to happen. And if they do happen, then it's kind of like by mistake or, by chance or by luck. And man, I used to believe for so many years that good things would just happen to me on accident. And they do sometimes. There are things that either God blesses us with, or we just get lucky, or, maybe we just have enough customers that come through and we finally do hit that $1,000, $100,000 a year mark. If that's, that's a solid first goal for people starting their businesses. But I have learned over the years that in order to make the goals happen, it actually requires a lot of intentionality. We have to be very intentional about what we're doing to achieve those goals. So what that could look like for you is come November, December, start thinking of ways that you can implement things to make that $100,000. So for instance, if your goal is to make $100,000 this year, which is very obtainable in the boat detailing business, you need to come up with strategies in place that's actually going to help you achieve that. So what that could be is signing up for our CRM system, getting your customers' information so you can remarket to them, answering the phone calls, setting up a lead strategy. When you get new leads in, what does that look like? Are you going to go out there and look at the boats? You're going to require photos of the boats. Guys, there really is not one perfect way to do this. There's multiple ways you can make $100,000 a year. There's multiple ways you can make $500,000 a year. There's multiple ways you can make $250,000 a year. There's no one perfect strategy. My goal or my advice would be to pick the strategy that you can actually do and pick the strategy that you can actually stay consistent on. So at the end of the year, like I'm currently doing right now, I like to think over all the successes that we had for last year, and I like to think over the failures that we had for last year. So I'll give you guys an example of a failure that I had. I think it was last month, we were going through our CRM system, and I noticed that we had about 127 leads in our opportunities or in our pipeline that we contacted one time. Some of them we contacted twice with no response back. that unfortunately my assistant and myself did not re-follow up with those people. 127 leads. And what that looked like was we must have gotten the lead in from over the year. My assistant sent them an email or a text message and an email saying, hey, thank you so much for filling out our contact form. Please let us know how we can help you. We never got a response back. Roughly about 2 days later, we send another text message out saying, hey, just wanted to follow up with you, see how you're doing. How can we help you get your boat detailed? Still no text message back. And unfortunately, those leads got dropped off. We just never contacted them back. That's a big no-no. That's a huge problem. That's 127 clients that potentially would have booked if we would have just simply picked up the phone and called them. That was 100% on me and my bad. So for a new strategy that we're going to implement this year is that every lead that comes in, my assistant is going to first send them a text message right away, or as soon as we get into the office or when we can. If they do not text back and engage in conversation right away, it will then get passed to me to give them a call as soon as I possibly can within 30 minutes. So we're going to send a text message. 30 minutes later, if we do not get a response back, it will automatically get bumped straight to me, and I will know that I am supposed to call them right then and there that day. Now, if for some reason, sorry, my camera shut off. If for some reason I call them and they do not answer, which most likely will happen because not everyone picks up the phone, or maybe they know the phone number, I will then give it 1 hour and I will call them right back. Actually, scratch that. As I'm just conversating with you, I realize I don't like that. What I'm going to do, and I'm actually going to make this adjustment now that I'm hashing this out with you guys, so thank you very much, is we are going to call 2 times in a row. Most people in today's day and age, I have learned this actually through a sales training that I was taking, they will not pick up an unknown number. But if that same unknown number calls back immediately a second time, most people realize, oh, it's either an emergency or this is not a spam call, because most spam calls only call once and then they'll call you back, an hour later or the next day. And I just remember this as we're working this through. So I'm actually going to implement this where we send them a text message. 30 minutes later, if we don't hear from them, I'm going to call them 2 times in a row, maybe even 3 times in a row. If they do not answer the phone after 3 calls, then it will go into follow up with another text message the next day. If for some reason the next day they do not answer or call us back or text us back, it will go into a reach out in 5 days. Every 5 days, we will send them a text message until they either tell us to screw off, we do not want you, or they will get back to us. Now, this can seem slightly spammy, okay? But I am not in the business of spamming anyone. You filled out my contact form, and now I'm just doing my part, and I'm being outstanding in how I'm making sure that your needs are fulfilled. If you filled out my contact form, chances are your boat needs a detail. Now, not every customer can answer a text message right away. Not every customer does texting. Not every customer can answer the phone call right away. That's why we try to give them multiple points of contact. So this is exactly the kind of debriefing at the end of the year. And this is just one example, but this is just one debriefing at the end of the year where I look back at my business from the last year or the year I'm currently in, and I go, where were some things that we made mistakes and how can we improve on those? And the funny thing is when I do this every single year, every year my company tends to get better because we are doing less of what we were doing wrong, mistakes, not answering calls, not getting back with people. We're doing less of that and more of what works. It's not 100%. it's not going to happen perfectly every time. But you can pretty much bank on the fact that if you are not doing the things that you were doing wrong and you keep doing the things that you were doing great, you're going to get better. You're going to get better. Your business is going to get better. You're going to get a better reputation because you're actually doing the right thing. So what I hope you guys kind of get from this conversation is start thinking right now of things that you can do in 2026 to actually achieve your goals. The goals are great. Set the goals, write the goals, put them on a notes on your phone, put them on a wall, whatever. All of that stuff is great. I have nothing bad against goals, but goals are completely useless if we're not actually putting in the strategies and the disciplines that we're going to do every single day to actually achieve those goals. You know, if you have a goal of starting a boat detail business, well, the strategy you can do in place is listen to our videos, take our online courses that are coming, or maybe they're already here by the time you're watching this. Connect with other detailers in the group. There might be a detailer in this group that is way more accessible to you and to help you than I am. And everyone in this group is down to help each other. That's our core value. We are here to serve one another. You know, we all grow when everyone grows. Now, if it's the detailer in your city, maybe not, because, you know, he's out here to making money just like you, and he may not want to help you as much, and that's okay, you know. Guys, set the goals, but more importantly, come up with the strategies that you're going to set in place to actually achieve those goals. We've got the lead thing going. Another strategy that I'm actually going to be setting in place this year is trying to start actually going and doing more test spots. You know, I have a love-hate relationship with test spots because we go out, we'll drive across town, and sometimes it's a waste of our time, but sometimes we'll go out town and we'll book a very, very high-end job that pays us really well. So, you know, depending on my schedule and my time, it makes the test spots harder and harder. But one thing that I am currently debating on doing is actually bringing in a sales guy, someone that their only job for our company is to go out and do test spots, customer service and test spots, and selling the detail packages. That is a part of my job, and my 3 to 5 year goal for my company is so that it can run fully without me ever being present. And one of the things that I have to put in place is I need to work myself out of a job and put someone in that sales position. That way it's not always on me. So I hope you guys got some value out of this. What I would love for you guys to do is comment down below 1 or 2 of the strategies that you might be putting in place. And guys, when we actually set a plan and we actually set a strategy and we execute on it every single day to the best of our abilities, some days you're going to be 100%, some days you might be 5%. Either way, if you're executing on it every single day by a little or by a lot, you will ultimately move your company forward every single day, step by step. Like I said, some days it'll be 100%, some days it might be 5%, and that's okay, as long as you're doing something. Set the strategy in place, work at it every day, do the next right thing, constantly focus on doing the next right thing. And sometimes that's getting out of bed. Sometimes that's not eating the cheeseburger because you don't want to feel like crap. Sometimes that's just simply sending the email you don't want to send. Sometimes that's just calling the client, following up with the client. You don't always want to do it. We don't always want to do the small little details, but the small little details is what's going to actually help you achieve the goals that you're setting down on that paper for your life or for your business this year. Guys, I hope that helps you guys today. Hope you enjoyed this riding with me. I'm actually at my destination. That's it for today's video. I'll see you guys. Comment down below. Let's get it.